Monaco. One of my sort of home Grand Prix, I suppose. This is where I live. I spent the last 2 weeks here after the last Grand Prix. So yeah, I spent a bit of time here, did a little bit of training up in the hills, well, quite a bit of training actually up in the hills, and had a few relaxing days as well, just out on a little boat, which was nice. Um, Obviously everything's a day earlier in Monaco, so I got down here on Wednesday for engineering time, and all went well. We're all looking forward to the weekend. Monaco's a strange one because it's a road and it's very dirty when you first drive out there, and it's also very narrow and a lot of very tall barriers, so it just feels so fast around here. On Thursday, just couldn't get to grips with the car. I mean, I didn't have a good balance at all on Thursday morning, quite a way off the pace. But we worked with the balance, and we got a little bit better on Thursday, but still wasn't completely happy. Good thing was we had the whole of Friday to work on it. Engineers did a great job, and on Saturday we had a much better car, much more drivable. I could push it more to the limit, but still wasn't quite there. So we changed a few things for qualifying, and the car was sort of immediately better. Really, I could work with the soft tyre, and the harder tyre was much better for me. So yeah, I was much happier with the balance of the car, and I thought that I could do a reasonable job in qualifying. So in Q1 I did okay. I think I was second quickest. Q2 struggled a little bit because I had too much understeer in the car. But yeah, I qualified P8 in Q2, so it wasn't anywhere near as good as I was hoping. But Q3 we made a few little changes to the car, front wing, tyre pressures, and the balance sort of came to me. I felt much more confident, and on the last run in qualifying in Q3, I was able to put in a good lap, and I couldn't have got any more out of the car. I was millimetres away from the barriers, and at one point I thought I was going to end up in the port. But it was a fun lap. I enjoyed it very much, and I know how important pole position is here for the race. Saturday night was pretty hectic. Getting around Monaco is impossible on race weekend, and it was just all quite stressful. But so I got to bed about midnight, having gone to dinner and taking an hour to drive home from the restaurant. Took forever. But I got reasonably good sleep, and woke up in the morning pretty pumped, pretty excited, and headed into the paddock, and everything was looking good. And we were a little bit worried about Kurz of Raikkonen off the start, but got in the car and got round to the grid and felt pretty positive, and got away from the start line, and the car worked well. We were on the option tyre. Most people around us were on the prime, which is a surprise. And the first few laps of the race I was leading. Rubens had jumped into second, and Rubens was sat behind me, and I was just sort of cruising, really, just trying to look after the tyres. We knew they had grain on the rear. I think I don't know if Rubens was pushing harder or if it was because he was behind me, so he would have had less downforce. But he grained his rears, and really then it was for me just to push on those laps, get a big gap. I had a sort of a 16-second lap, 16-second lead. Came in early for the prime tyres because we had a big enough lead, and the second stint and the third stint was prime tyres, and they seemed to work very well. And I pushed when I needed to, which was at the end of the second stint, and got a big enough gap. And the last stint, really, it was tough because I had a big enough gap. I had no worries there, but you can't relax around here. As you go through the race, mentally you get tired, and the circuit gets narrower and narrower. You got to be on the case, and so that was probably the toughest part of the race. And the last two laps, I could just chill out, take it all in, enjoy the moment of the moment that I was hoping I was going to get, which was to win the Monaco Grand Prix. And I crossed the line and saw the mechanics, and a very emotional moment. This is one that every driver wants to win, and every team wants to win in Formula One. So I was a very happy boy at that moment in time. Drove into the wrong place after the race. Pulled up in the wrong Parc Fermé. Supposed to go to the start line, so I jumped out the car, ran down the start and finish straight, waving at the crowd, and it was a really nice moment actually. And I think every driver that wins Monaco from now on should do the same thing, because it is a nice moment, and you can actually hear the crowd. When you're in the race car going around, you can't hear the crowd, so it was nice. And then I got to the podium, and it was just all a big mess, and just giving everyone big hugs. And it was it's good in Monaco because you can get close to the fans, you can get close to the mechanics and your family, and yeah, it was really nice. So had a great weekend, and one that's it's I think sort of we've made history as a team over the last few races, and I think Mercedes have made history of winning 3 races with 1 engine the last 3 races. So very proud of all the guys, and I'm looking forward to a couple of drinks this evening, and then I can start concentrating on Turkey tomorrow. So thank you very much, and you can find out more on my website, which is jensonbutton.com.